I came across Going Public about 4 years ago, and I was quite intrigued by the delivery that they were offering, looking at relationships and it being sex-related education.
There are so many poor and negative messages that come from the media, from peer groups about issues such as sex, and the difference that Going Public make is that it puts a positive message on what has become almost a negative thing.
Quite often these issues are not necessarily being able to be dealt with the normal school activity. So having outside organisations that will come in, and deal with specific and personal issues is very important.
We first came to hear of Going Public when the parents of one of our pupils, who was a GP, had seen one of their presentations in another school and said they are really very, very good. We were so impressed that we invited Going Public to become central to our teaching of sex and relationships in Year 9.
And what I wanted to do was to raise the importance of having a relationship rather than just sex for sex's sake, which I felt was the issue within our school, especially with the young people getting involved, sexually active rather early.
Research has proven that the context of drama creates a safe environment for young people to learn about issues which are embarrassing to talk about, such as their sexual habits, their understandings of relationships, the way they use alcohol.
I think Going Public, in what they've presented to our young people, have made them stop and think about key issues which they are already facing or are going to face. And I think that's such a key thing, that young people are challenged on their thinking, and it's done in such a way which enables them to think through these issues without perhaps feeling judged or condemned.
At Going Public, we do what we do because we believe in the intrinsic worth of every individual, and on issues like self-esteem, self-worth, sex and relationships, we want to bring truth.
With the actors, we found that because they were young and they could actually empathise with the pupils as the pupils saw it, the pupils tend to regard the actors as being people rather than teachers.
When Going Public came in, the presentation and the performance really stuck with me, how sex is more than the physical, and it's just highlighted like all the emotional things that come with it.
We found that the pupils are far more willing to discuss issues surrounding sex and relationships. They're far more willing to listen to others. They're far more willing to seek advice as well, in a way that they may not have done previously.
Watching actors act out a play or a scenario that we can see ourselves in is very powerful. A time when we can almost write our name into the script.
Many of them have said that it's made them rethink, in a positive way, their own attitudes towards sex and relationships in particular. And they've all gained from it a real sense of self-worth. They've come away with the feeling that good relationships built on love and respect are worth celebrating.
If we look at statistics for the school for the last 4 years, we have had a reduction in teen pregnancies.
I remember what it was like to be a teenager. I remember going to a school where sex and relationships weren't discussed, where I had 1,000 burning questions that I would like some answers to, and the teachers were embarrassed. They didn't want to discuss it. My parents were embarrassed to discuss issues as well. And so when I became a teacher, I always said to myself that I would never forget what it was like to be 14 years old, to be going through a very difficult emotional and physical time, and I won't forget what it was like to have nobody to turn to, nobody to talk to. In follow-up sessions with the pupils, they have nothing but praise for Going Public. It answered every question they had. They felt that they could talk openly and freely. As a consequence, our own teaching in school has been made all the better.